Hello. Beep, 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 beep. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the court of the Edijester with me, the Jester. Right, what have we got for you today? Trans. The transes are at it again. Well, in fact, it's about trans and the BBC. For those of us that have been in this fight long enough, we know that the BBC has not only made mistakes, as they keep bleating, but have actively pushed child harm. If you don't think this is related to what happened to Donald Trump with the editing of the video, then I don't know what to tell you. Why is it we can't see it? Why is it we can't recognise what they're up to? We'll begin to see receipts being posted by the likes of Malcolm Clark, by the likes of Stiltish, Sex Matters, Transgender Trend, Safe Schools. They'll all be posting stuff in the coming days in regards to exactly what the BBC has done when it comes to pushing the lie of trans. Or, for that matter, queer, which is another one of their favourites. Trans, queer, this concept of transing or of queering, it's actually a doing word. You perform trans or you perform queer. It's not real in any sense. They're not a new category of human being. There is no such thing as gender identity. There is no such thing as non-binary. There is no such thing as trans. You perform trans or you perform queer. It is purely a performance. Unfortunately, when it comes to it, it is a performance that, in the case of trans, can radically make you physically ill. And in the case of queer, can radically make you mentally ill. The BBC have been absolutely committed to both of these theoretical frameworks. And we can see that in the output of the television channel for the last 10 years. Even to the point where they've had programmes which have children asking questions of so-called transgender specialists, and they're then telling the children they don't have a sex, they can choose whether to be a boy or girl. Or centering these trans performing people in television programmes which have a great appeal to children. For example, Doctor Who, in which a man in his 20s played a 15-year-old girl. Then you have the likes of I Am Jazz, Butterflies, and all of the ridiculous notions that have been pushed through TV channels, and not just the BBC, where there is an unqualified acceptance that we have discovered a new type of human being who requires raising to the altar of priesthood and being treated as if what applies to us does not apply to them. This is not a mistake. And once again, I'm drawn to the rhetoric around this, and the rhetoric that we, the collective we, in some cases, seem to be accepting. If I ask you the question, have you got the time? Most of us will say, oh yes, Barry, it's 4:15, or as it is here, 4:45 in the morning. It's 4:45 in the morning, Barry. And I then said to you, that wasn't the question. The answer should have been, when I said to you, have you got the time? Yes, if you had it, or no, if you didn't. The reason that you don't answer in that way is because A, we like to be helpful, and B, it's a nice thing to do to go that extra bit, even if it's a little bit, but we don't realise that we're doing it. The problem I have with the current dialogue taking place between us, if you will, for want of a better word, us and them, yeah, right? Between us and the BBC, or us and others on X and on Facebook and other platforms where the conversation is taking place, is that we have accepted the premise and therefore the conversation is okay. I do not accept the premise that the promulgation and propaganda and proliferation of trans and queer theories, of trans and queer ideology, of serious medical and psychological harm is okay at all. There is no discussion to be had. And that's not me saying no debate in the way that Stonewall did. Because the reason that Stonewall said no debate is because they had a new paradigm that they thought they could use to trans and queer the country. That was their game. Right? Now, a paradigm, not always an easy thing to understand because it's generally a paradigm is seen in the language of science. But there's no harm in us looking to science when we are under assault from an anti-science, anti-human nonsense bag. The paradigm is the agreed and fixed ideas that we as people may agree on. In science, for example, every time somebody does a scientific experiment, they don't explain the theory of evolution or the table of elements. They don't have to, because our assumption is that we all understand that. When Stonewall said no debate, what they meant was that they were going to replace those assumptions with their assumptions. No such thing as sex. People can identify as whatever they like. You can play with the human body like it's a Mr. Potato Head. That was their paradigm. By discussing with the BBC the apology and the whys and the wherefores of this, what's going on, we have accepted the paradigm. That paradigm is worthy of discussion, is worthy of respect in a democratic society. Worriads, you'll recall this word, worriads, from the lovely Maya Forstatus case. We can't do this. It will undo us. We are being played. It is quite simple, BBC. There are no mistakes. This was deliberate. I want to know who, I want to know why, and I want to know what, and I want to know when, and I want to know where, and I want to know how. All of this became something that you wanted to push. The mentally deranging queer theory, the physically damaging trans theory, gender ideology, right? And you can add to that list the societally destructive critical race theory, decolonizing, whiteness, white tears, white guilt. I want to know what Kipling had to say with his faithful serving men. I had 6 faithful serving men. They taught me all I knew. Some of you may know that. Some of you may not. If you don't, go and look it up. I want to know. Because it's important that we are able to say to you, no, BBC, we reject these beliefs entirely. Entirely. They are useless. They are a parasite. What the BBC should have done from the very beginning is destroyed trans, queer, and critical race theory just like that. Why do you want to destroy the Western canon? That's what it should have done. And that is what we should now be doing. That's what we should now be doing. If we do not remove this parasitical nonsense from our society, we are doomed to failure. They are driven by equity. They are driven by the idea that language can construct the world. They are driven by everything that makes life difficult for people like you and I. There's only a few of us in the fight. Most people don't even know what's going on. So it behoves us to do the best that we can do. And I say now that we've got the beast on the ropes and its throat is exposed. We don't want an agreement. We need to slash it and do it properly. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.